Slowly kisses busting by the river.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr-Magazine.
And I'm freezing. One of these days we got to kind of go inside.
I agree.
There you go. Middle of winter here in upstate New York. I guess I really can't complain. If I really was worried about it, I guess I could probably move south, huh?
Go for it.
Yeah, you wish.
I can't. I can't move south. Too much stuff.
No, you can't just put this warehouse up on a back of a truck and drive it down there?
Superman could. That's about it.
So we're going to talk about research and Terapeak and the pros and the cons of Terapeak. You use, or your listers use Terapeak?
Yes, most of them.
And how do you do it? And what is your theory behind Terapeak as far as how you use it, when they use it, et cetera, et cetera?
If it's something they're not familiar with, or if it's something more obscure, they don't have any clue what it's worth, or it's very volatile, so the price could be all over the place. If it's a common Hot Wheels car or something, and it's a blue package, they know the difference between a regular treasure hunt and so forth. But if it's a Vogue magazine, international, Italy or something, then that's the stuff you gotta do some research on, and it's worth it too. You'll see crazy prices sometimes on that stuff, and my listeners learn a lot from that too.
Now, I don't know how familiar you are with Terapeak, and at some point I'm going to end up doing a video showing you how to use Terapeak. So that should be kind of interesting on that part over there. But you are familiar with Terapeak a little bit? You've used it from time to time?
Sure.
You do know that there are 2 tabs on there, sold and active.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the sold shows back 365 days. How do your listers use it?
They basically go off it depends on the condition and so forth, but they'll go closer to the highest price.
Which tab do they use, sold or active or both?
I think they do the solds.
Okay.
Yeah.
They should also use the active.
Okay.
And the reason why is, there's a number of different reasons why, but number one, you can see how common an item is.
Okay.
And you can see what your competition is pricing it at. Not that you necessarily have to price what your competition prices it at, but at least that way you have an idea. Say I'm listing a January 1979 Road and Track, and there are 14 of them on there, and they're from $6.99 to $12.99. It's unlikely I'm going to be able to get $28 out of it.
Right.
It's just unlikely because there are so many of them on there.
Yeah.
One interesting thing that I've noticed is how poor a lot of the listings are, but that when something does sell, how quickly other people steal that idea because they use Terapeak.
Yeah.
And we've shown a couple of bolos before where I've sold various things, and I was the only person to mention it. I believe one had Jackie Robinson, one had Audrey Hepburn. Absolutely guarantee you that if I go back and search that in 4 months, other people will be using those keywords because they sold mine at $10 to $15 higher than other people's were listed on there. So people are going to start using it. And I know we've talked in the past. I mean, if you've got some situation where, well, this could never happen, of course, but Audrey Hepburn dressed as Frankenstein walking up to the Titanic, you don't need anything else. You need to do no further research because that's got pretty much every keyword that'll sell itself in there. But when you sit there and you look, and the prime example I always use are like Time magazines.
Yeah.
A lot of those have people on the covers who aren't going to move a lot of magazines. It's got the Iowa Agricultural Secretary. Not a lot of people are searching on Joe Baker or whatever his name happened to be. So there are times when I don't even mention who's on the cover. But I do like to look through the solds because sometimes somebody will have done some of the work and they'll list in there Jackie Gleason because he's in there. So now I say, okay, I've got to look for Jackie Gleason. I've got one word. Now I'm going to look for Jackie Gleason. I'm going to do a picture of Jackie Gleason, of course, and that's where multiple pictures work out very well as well. But I may not mention Secretary Baker because he may not sell. So then I go into the listed items and I see what everybody has listed, and like 4 other people have this listed and they're all mentioning Secretary Baker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention him unless I need to fill in the words. And I start going through, and then all of a sudden you see Albert Einstein. Hey, nobody else mentioned Albert Einstein.
Right.
So use it as a tool. Look at the other people's listings and see why they sold it for what they sold it for. See what people have it priced at, and raise your price if you find that Albert Einstein's in there. Raise your price if you find Albert, because nobody else is mentioning that. And a lot of people will go onto yours and see Albert Einstein. They don't make the extra step of saying Albert Einstein is in March 23rd, 1952 time. Yeah. Let me search in other people's March 23rd, 1952 time. They don't do that.
Right.
They just find yours, and now they're buying it. So these really are golden times for using Terapeak. You can do the work, which everybody's going to steal later, but make sure you're pricing yourself up high enough at this point, because again, people are going to steal and race to the bottom on prices.
Yeah.
So don't, because everybody else mentioned Secretary Baker and has theirs listed at 20, and you see Albert Einstein, don't list yours at 20 with Albert Einstein.
Right.
List yours at 35 with Albert Einstein, because you're going to go back in 3 months, and they're all going to be priced at 35 with Albert Einstein.
Yeah, true.
So you have first mover advantage at this point using Terapeak. Take advantage of it. Use it. Take the time to list well. Know what keywords sell things. And again, if you see those keywords already, don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, if you see those wonderful keywords, do not reinvent the wheel. I mean, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, you probably aren't going to find anything better in a given magazine than that. That's going to sell it. But if you sit there and you see some things that just don't really sell things, or everybody, 6 of them are up and all 6 are mentioning the same things, it's not going to hurt you to mention something different.
Right.
Because you want to stand out from the crowd. You want people to find yours, and somebody or other happens to be searching on Bavaria, and they find yours because you're the only person who mentioned that there was a 3-page article on Bavaria in there. Just use Terapeak, but know how to use it and use it wisely. But move now and raise your prices now, because, again, people will copy your listings. I'm sure your people probably have copied a few of my listings throughout the years.
I'm sure they have.
At least I made my money.
And then undercut you.
Probably. So make your comments down below if you could. Be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.